Okay, so 3.8 is a little bit more numbers. So far, we've done like 5 or 10 in each grouping, because the numbers up until 29 have most of the irregulars. So most of the ones that take some memorization. The fact that the 20s use an L instead of a V for the tens digit. This one has a lot more consistency. Once you learn the 30s, the 40s are easier, the 50s, 60s, etc. Upwards of 66, there's some other little things that we'll get into. They're very subtle, so nothing to hammer over the head with, but I do want to talk about them just a little bit. And this never lets me do that. Okay. So that's not right. Numbers from 30 to 66. Remember that. Okay. So the vocab is the numbers from 30 to 66. Okay. And I don't want to sign through them all right now because I want to look at them in clumps. This video will show the multiples of 10. It's a great explanation, but it's the tens number, the 3, 0, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. Okay. It's not 90, 40, not like 11 and 12 where you repeated it a couple times. It's just once, 30. Now, 30 is different from no. 30 is open. No is flat. You can't do them at the same time. So 30 is the tips touching versus flatten. I crush your head. I crush your head. Right. Nobody home. Anybody remember Kids in the Hall? Probably not. You're all too young. Children. Kids, get off my lawn. Okay. So 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. She goes through a great explanation. So just follow what she says. The next is multiples of 11. The repeated digits. 22. For the most part, it ends up being palmed down for these. 22, 33, 44, 55, 66, 77, 88, 99. It's also the sign for French fry. French fry. Furniture. All three of those have the same sign. So context clues hopefully will help you to not eat your furniture. So 99. And all it is it goes from the inside to the outside. Don't go 99. It goes to the outside. 44, 33. So that will help spread out amongst all of these numbers. So then there's a video that starts out showing the 30s from 31 to 39. And again, once you learn the pattern, it applies to everything pretty much all the way to 99. So 31, start with a 3 and shift to a 1. 31, 3, 1. And it just slides a little bit. 31. There's a natural kind of 31, 31, 31, 31, 32, 32, 32. We did 33, right? 33, 34, 35. Notice how it's going from one side of the hand to the other. 35, 34, 32. Right? That thumb kind of goes from out here and across, right? So those kind of movements are going to be helpful. 36, 36, 37, 38, and 39. Going to be weird because getting to those 6, 7, 8, 9, those have been the uncomfortable ones to learn, right? Is remembering, is it 6 or 9? 6 or 9? I don't know, and I don't want to embarrass myself if I'm asking someone for what we're going to do on Saturday. I don't know. 6, 6, 6, 9, 9, 9, 6, 96. I'm not 96. Thank you very much. Old. I'm not that old. I'm not that old. Sorry, I'm losing it. Hopefully it's entertaining. Don't call for help. I'm fine. There's not enough alcohol to deal with this pandemic. Okay. This election. Are we done? Anyway, I'm going to have to edit this out if I use this video ever again. Or maybe I'll just put footnotes on the side. So people go, this was in 2020 when when the earth opened up and craziness came out. Cthulhu came out and sucked up anything. Okay, I'm back. I just had to. I went on a short vacation. Don't mind me. So 36, 37, 38. Notice how is there kind of movement? 36, 37, 38, 39. One digit, right? So those are the 30s. Video shows, and she gives some good feedback. So I laid it out like this, so it's kind of easier to see. Because all the 1s through 5s, or really I should do a column for the 30, 40, 50, 60. Maybe I'll put them in blue. I should do the double letters. I should do them in a different color as well, just so you can see those patterns. But 0 to 5 are always consistent. 6 to 9 are always consistent, and they're two separate patterns. So just practice through these and get used to them. You already know up to 19 and 20. So you could do dates where you could put any two pairs of numbers together and create a year. Sorry for all my British students who may have just gotten offended. Just kidding. But you could do 1920, 1930, 2020, 2030, right? So you can put, and it's just like first number, second number. Small shift to the outside. Okay. So practice numbers. Again, this is all mechanical stuff. Joey, Mr. Yellow Shirt, goes through 20 different examples where he's just giving a number from 30 to 70. Ooh. So he's got a couple of extra numbers in there. Be careful. But it's a good practice to watch. Now, age. This is a good time to bring up ages. We talked about the sign for old. Old. Really old. Old. You can sign old 30 to mean 30 years old. So it reverses how we do it in English. 30 age is not clear. We want to set up what we're talking about and then define it. So age is 30, age 33, age 35. I tried to put these patterns in because I think they're the easiest ones. We've got the double letters, we've got the tens, and we've got from a number to the open-handed 5, 65, 75. Those seem to be the most helpful. 6, 7, 8, and 9, they're tough. And until you feel comfortable with them, I don't want you confusing yourself. So I'm going to focus on, put these on for you to focus on to help with. So 30, 33, 35, 40, 44, 45. All right. Then I break the pattern up when it gets above 5 because I wanted to keep them in numerical order. So these are ones to practice. And what you do is just preface it with age 77, age 95. If you want, you can assign it to someone. My dad, age 77. Okay. Similar pattern happens when we're talking about what the time is. When we're looking at a clock and talking about the time. Touch our wristwatch, time 1, time 2, time 3, time 4, time 5. We always set up the time first before we give them the number. Okay. It's just the best way we have to clarify it. It's you set up the topic and then you define it. O'clock, 5. Time, 6. Right? Time, 12. So for age, then the number. Time, then the number. Now, in the last, I think it was the last one or two ago, earlier in this unit, I mentioned something called the rule of 9. And I didn't define it because I was going to do it right here. We can incorporate hand shapes into signs. Generally speaking, we do them with signs where numbers can affect the meaning. We wouldn't sign red with a number handshake because that wouldn't make a lot of sense. Like, ooh, oh, it's a red 2, it's a red 5. No, it looks like you're signing something else. It looks like sugar or bitch or frustration, right? So we wouldn't change those handshapes. But things that deal with time and duration, we do always use a number in with it. And the numbers 1 through 9 are static handshapes. They don't change, not like 11. Right? If I were to sign 1 hour, 1 hour, I could do 2 hours. And that's pretty clear. It's not too much information at the same time. It's not too much movement. Right? The only thing that's changed is the hand shape. If I were to sign 12 o'clock or 12 hours, that's all of a sudden really way too much going on. It kind of looks like I've got someone spiked onto Big Ben and they're kicking their legs. It's this new British torture that they're going to do with their prime minister once they get rid of him. Brexit. This is for Brexit, you bastard. Okay, so rule of 9, you can switch out the hand shape using 1 through 9 on a time sign, and it will generally be it will add more clarity. Anything beyond, even a 0, anything outside that scope is less clear. And we will get into many more of them. But for right now, I want you to think about age and time, because those are very easy to incorporate. If you sign age 1, it's perfectly legitimate. It's the generic way of doing it, age 1, age 1. But you can also use the hand shape all the way through. Age 1, age 2, age 3, age 4. So I start with the hand shape right from the beginning. I sign age with the number, 6 years old. You can go to 9. If you're going to do 10, you go back to 0 plus 10. So let me get rid. Actually, you know what? Let me put an asterisk. Of course, I got to move that. There we go. I'll put an asterisk by that because that's the one where it's got to be separate. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, age 10. Okay? So I hope that makes sense. We're going to start to use the rule of 9. And it's a rather recent term to call it the rule of 9. So some people may go, I've never heard of that rule. Mostly ASL teachers call it that. Most people out in the wild don't call it the rule of 9 because most times people don't think about how they use language. There are lots of rules in English that we never think about. If someone told you about the past pluperfect of a verb tense, you'd be like, unless you've studied it, I just say the words and I know it's right because it sounds right. So the same thing where just know rule of 9 is an ASL teacher or a linguist's term. Telling the time 1, time 2, time 3, time 4, time 5. So notice how I'm not even doing the 1. I'm just going up to 9 and then time 10, time 11, time 12. So these 3 will all need asterisks because they all have to be separate. Okay? So practice with those. In a very limited form, it's very easy. Talk about the age of the people in your life. Your significant other, your siblings, your parents, how old are they? Just sort of practice those forms. And then the last of the exercises to practice is how many of what? And they're going to alternate. This is one where they alternate numbers back and forth because they're a little bit longer. He's going to use between 30 and 66 in sentences. And I want you, you don't have to write it down unless you want to just jot it down on a separate piece of paper. But they're going to give you a number and how many and what that number applies to. So 4 doors down, 3 floors, that kind of stuff, or 3rd floor, that kind of stuff. So applying numbers. So I just blurred in the camera. Okay, so take a look at the video and see if you can figure them out. And again, both of these videos with the questions are in the worksheets, so you can check your answers there. I don't believe. Yeah, no, I didn't put the answers in this one. So there is the video of everything that's in this chapter. And that is 3.8.